Hey, good morning, kids. How's everybody out there in YouTube land this morning? I had to, excuse me, I had to record this as a video as opposed to doing a live stream because I have no cell signal right where I'm at here. But look at that sunrise coming up. Huh? Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. Anyhow, there's Hard Island. Leaving the anchorage here bright and squirrely this morning. Had to sit and wait a little bit for daylight so that I could see where I'm going, and mostly so I could see for crab pots, because I have to drive through a minefield of crab pots here to get around Old Hard Island and to get out into the deep-water channel. So that's kind of what we're doing. Anyhow, we are, I'm going to go out here a little bit further out deeper. Bunch of crab pots right here onto my starboard side. Whoa, there's a bunch of them in here. All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to pay attention to my boat driving while I'm doing this. I wanted to do a video this morning about a little bit of clarification on some things. There was some confusion about me sitting down and having dinner, of all things, the other night. So let me tell you what happened. The other day, I got to thinking to myself, you know, all these channels have this, like Delos and well, actually a bunch of them now have this little tab you can hit that says, hey, buy us a beer. And, you know, that's fine. You know, that's fine. But I'm not that much of a party animal, and I just don't need that much beer. Certainly don't. So I chose not to do that. But I got the idea. I said, well, hey, you know, just because I don't need beer doesn't mean that Miss Lily doesn't need treats along the way. And so I put it out there. I said, hey, buy Miss Lily a burger. You know, get the PayPal and buy Miss Lily a burger. And sure enough, somebody saw that and said, hey, I'm going to do that. And so what they did is they sent me 50 bucks on PayPal and said, go buy Miss Lily a burger and get yourself a nice dinner. So that's what I did. I put the 50 bucks in my account and I walked over to where I was at there at Crescent City, Maryland. And there was only one restaurant there. So I didn't have a whole lot of choices. There was a little ice cream shop that I was hoping to stop at. I really wanted an ice cream. Haven't had an ice cream in a long, long time. Not since I left Port Washington. Doug took me for an ice cream once there. Anyhow, so I headed out thinking I was going to go get me an ice cream. And I got to peek around the corner. Oh, yep, that's what I thought. Crab trap right there in front of me. Anyhow, so I went over there to get a burger for Miss Lily and get myself something to eat. Well, wasn't particularly hungry at that point. I had breakfast just 4 or 5 hours earlier, and I usually don't eat but one meal a day, and even then something pretty light. Plus I have my fruit and stuff for breakfast. And anyhow, so I got some calamari. I ordered the appetizer, the calamari appetizer, and so I got the calamari appetizer. Miss Lily got a hamburger, which she wolfed down in about a half a second. And got back over the boat thinking, I only spent 30 of the 50. I'm sorry, 20. I only spent 20 of the 50. And so that just didn't seem quite right. I thought maybe, you know, the guy might get upset with me because he sent me 50 and I only spent 20. And then I got to thinking I had no internet speed where I was at on the boat. There was no way to live stream from the boat. So I decided to go ahead and go back over to the restaurant so I could use their free Wi-Fi, which was only for inside the restaurant. I sat inside this time instead of sitting outside, used their Wi-Fi, had dinner while I was doing a lot of route planning, trying to pick my next spot I was going to anchor in, and getting all of that stuff organized. Had myself a light dinner of some pasta rigatoni. Wasn't a lot. 2 small pieces of bread and some rigatoni with 3 shrimp and a little crab meat on it. Really wasn't very much, actually. And a couple of beers, and did my live stream, and then I spent 30 bucks. So there was the 50 spent. So that's what I did. Now, when somebody gives me money and tells me to use it for a specific purpose like that, I'm going to use it for that specific purpose. I mean, how otherwise they won't donate again. But if they donate for something like that and I go do it, well, then that's great. Then they're happy, and if they're happy, I'm happy, and everybody's happy. And and the world goes on. So. All right, I'm trying to get around Hart Island here and dodge all these crab buoys. I don't know if you can see them. You see little things like that sticking up. And then those little black dots over there. And then all those little dots over there. All those little dots and things sticking up out of the water. Those are all crab buoys. There's one right there in front of me I'm going to run into if I don't turn to my right here a little bit, which is what I wanted to do anyway. I want to go that way, south. All right, so it didn't get down to 59 here this morning, but it is 62 degrees right now. I noticed yesterday coming down the canal that leaves were falling off of trees. The trees were going through their color changes already. Fall is going to, I mean, we're at the end of September, going into October. Fall is coming. You know, September in Ohio, September in upstate New York, where I did a lot of hunting, it's already brisk and cool. Time to get the hell out of Dodge. So, which brings me to the second subject I wanted to discuss, and why I went this route, and why I'm not going to the Annapolis Boat Show. Sorry if I'm not paying attention looking at you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just watching for crab pots and other boats and things in the water that I might run into, and you know, basic navigational kind of stuff. When you're driving a boat, things you got to pay attention to, which is why when you're out on waters like this, you shouldn't be relying on an autopilot, because you're going to run into a crab pot or some deadhead floating out here. Like in Seattle, they used to do a lot of logging there, and they had big log plumes. Every so often they'd have escaped logs. And sometimes these logs would float in the water, not this way where you could see it, but just like that. You'd see just a little bit of the tip sticking up. And man, when you hit those sons of guns, let me tell you something, you've hit something. It hurts. So anyhow, we're making our way around Hart Miller Island, it's called. There's a little fishing boat went by me. Anyhow, we're going to be heading south. So why I went this route, let's start there. I went this route because when I left, I didn't want to sit there in Cape May any longer. I needed to get going. I needed to do something. The weather forecast for Cape May would have been that I wasn't going to see a weather window, and sure enough, there wasn't a weather window to leave Cape May heading south until today. Until today. Up until today, it was all wind wrong direction, wind wrong speed, wave heights too high. There was always some reason why I couldn't go south. So I pulled out of Cape May and I got to the end of the canal. The wind was blowing me north. I thought, well, at least we can go see Delaware and see the canal. Everyone talked about this canal up here and how cool it was. And it was very reminiscent to the Erie Canal for me, so I kind of enjoyed that. In fact, I was reminded that I kind of enjoy that kind of travel by sailboat. That to me is very enjoyable, just sort of motoring around and looking at houses and checking stuff out. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. One of the reasons why I'm looking forward to the ICW, you know, just motoring down the canal and checking stuff out. So, not in a big hurry, not beating up the boat, not beating myself up, just enjoying our time out there. So, anyhow, so I ended up going north. I came up, I went up to Delaware. That took one day to get up to Cohansey. Another day got me up to Crescent City, or Chesapeake City. And then from Chesapeake City, the third day, I made it to here. I'm right near Baltimore. So the extra 100 miles that it added onto my trip by coming up around here, you know, I think that was time better spent making some more interesting content, seeing some new sights than it was just sitting there in Cape May wasting time. Although I certainly have some boat projects I could have worked on, but it all worked out for the better for me anyway going this route. So Now, with that said, Annapolis, okay, it's already getting cold here, as I mentioned. 62 degrees out here right now, 62. It's getting cold. It's colder weather's coming. Annapolis Boat Show does not start for 1 week. I am not going to sit here and wait a whole week just to walk around the boat show. I mean, yes, there's some folks I would like to meet that express that they're going to be at the boat show. It would be great to meet them and say hello and what have you, but I don't have the funds to go to the boat show. I don't have the time to go to the boat show. I'd have to be here for, what, a week and a half to stay here for the boat show. It just doesn't make any sense for me to waste that much time when I could be heading south, get down to Florida, get back to work, start making some money. Who knows? When I get down to Florida, that week and a half might prove critical. So, for those of you guys that are my supporters that was disappointed that I came up this direction instead of just going south, well, that's the reason why I didn't go south. There was no weather window to head south along Cape May and along the Maryland, Delaware coast. So this seemed like the better route to be able to go do something. That extra 100 miles, that's the 3 days of motoring cost me 15 gallons of gasoline. So not a huge expenditure. And I think, you know, we saw a lot of interesting sights and had a little bit of adventure doing that. So I just filled up right back over in there at a marina last night, and I put $37 in my tank. That's what it cost to go from Cape May to here. It was $37. So it was also my last $37. But you know, at least we had that. So there we go. There we go. So anyhow, we're heading south now. I'm going to be going right past Annapolis. I'm a little concerned. We have a red sky this morning. You see that beautiful sunrise coming up a little red over there. Let's hope the redness stays over there and we have a beautiful day over here. The forecast is we're supposed to have a beautiful day over here. We're going to have very, very light winds. I'm probably going to have to motor the whole time. There's going to be no waves. Just going to be real quiet. I am going to go a long haul today. I'm going to do about 50 miles. So we're going to go on a 10-hour run today. So it's going to be a big old long day of moving. You know, sometimes when you're out cruising, you can find anchorages that are at that, you know, ideal eight-hour run, which to me is ideal. 8 hours, you know, by 8 hours I'm pooped, and you know, but less than that, like here, I kind of hated stopping early, even though it was an 8-hour run. I just felt like I didn't get very far. I think it was 35 miles or something, and today I'm going to go 50. If I can do 50 miles today, tomorrow, and the next day, I should be in Norfolk by Monday, Tuesday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, yeah, probably by Monday night, Tuesday night, somewhere in there, I'll be in Norfolk, Virginia, entering the ICW. So that's my intention on the Chesapeake, is to make 3 or 4 really long days. Going to have some, you know, less than protected anchorages that I'll be staying at, but that's all good. That's all fine. If the weather's like this, I mean, you really don't need, I mean, I'm in 8 feet of water right now. I could just drop the anchor right here and spend the night if I wanted to. I mean, there's just no reason not to. It's not like the wind's blowing me around, except the boat wake's coming through, but it was pretty nice and quiet last night, and we're heading out early this morning. So anyhow, this is getting long. I'm going to end this here. Just a bit of explanation as to why I made the decisions I made. I'm heading down towards Norfolk to get into the ICW. We'll be going past Annapolis today. I am not going to the boat show. And to those guys that love and support me, I hope you understand, and I hope you continue to love and support me. Even though I took this little bit of a detour, it was a nice scenic detour and a pleasant respite. So anyhow, we'll have more for you later, kids. Take care, everybody. Bye.